is secret.
Welcome back. Sportscast live on a Wednesday. Download this podcast for you guys. Again, we apologize the last month for not having live shows, but you can send your hate mail to Frontier Communications. Hopefully we'll get it fixed here soon. Knocker sitting back down, but again, we'll have it up for you guys tomorrow. iTunes, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio. Spread the word. Tell a friend. Spread something out there. I know we know Cam spread something this weekend, huh? Hey, yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, guys. Again, you can follow us on Twitter at Sportscast_THN. We also got our new Facebook page up. You can follow us there. It's Sportscast Entertainment. And you guys can follow Knocker on Twitter at Bud Knocker. Cam, what's your CM Bullock? Is that what?
C Bullock.
C Bullock.
Yeah.
Okay. And then mine's at Real Josh Pacheco. All of our Twitter handles. Right now, guys, we're going to get into a little bit of the NBA Finals, which kick off tomorrow. I should say shoot off. What do you say for that? Do you say kick off?
Tip off.
Tip off.
Tip off.
Tip off.
Or as what Cam did this weekend. I think everything goes with Cam this weekend. We got the three-peat, though, Knock. We got the Warriors coming off what? It seems like a month's rest. Did they even play the last month?
I just
Like, unbelievable,
this is
man.
ridiculous.
I think
9
they're
days.
9 days rest, 10 days rest, something like that. Their
It's-
coach, their interim coach, they've been off for so long. Their interim coach got food poisoning and is now
and he's back okay
and
now?
he's back okay now.
Is that Mike Brown?
Yeah, Mike Brown got some food poisoning and now he's back.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it's going to be interesting series here. Again, we've got a rematch, LeBron versus Steph Curry. You got a different series, though. Everyone's healthy coming into this series for both teams here,
No
Knocker.
excuses.
I think it's going to be a good series. And again, we haven't been paying much attention to basketball because everything
Well, I hope so because there hasn't been one yet.
has been winning. But a lot of people are calling sweep on this. Now, I mean, a lot of people think this is, yeah, there's people out there calling sweep. I've got him in 5 games. I've got Warriors
Are
in
these
5.
the same guys that said there's no way Cleveland could win down 3 games to
yeah,
1?
that's the thing. See,
The
that's
same
why.
guys, same
Yeah.
experts.
Well, it might be Stephen A. Smith who's gotten it wrong the last 7 straight ones. Did you see that picture I posted up of it? No, he's got. Oh, did you see it, Cam?
He's 0-6.
Yeah, he's
0-6.
0-6 in the last 6 years.
And he's still employed.
And he's
Yeah,
picking the
and he's
Warriors
still
in
employed.
7, so they're like, Cleveland's going to win.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
The more and more, you know what? The one thing that I will say is this. If you look at their numbers in the playoffs, Cleveland shot the 3 better. They've scored a little bit more points, and they're 12-1, and the Warriors are 12-0. Like they're virtually the same teams. So I'm still got it in 6.
I don't think you don't think Kevin Durant is that much of. I mean, the Warriors had the same team last year, essentially, except for.
But they didn't. They didn't have their bench is a lot weaker this year, and Cleveland's
See, I
bench
don't
has
think
significantly improved.
You think Golden State's bench is that much weaker
I think
compared to last year?
I think Golden State's depth and their chemistry is a little bit off compared to last year. There's the one unwritten thing in sports is that you can never. You can put a bunch of talent on a team. You never know how they're going to mash together, right? Mm-hmm. So chemistry is a very unwritten thing, and this team still hasn't played together yet. They're still trying to find their groove. So that's where I think Cleveland's got the advantage.
You can see that struggle that you're talking about, though, with Tristan Thompson right now. Not Tristan Thompson, with Klay Thompson right now. He's struggling mightily these last few through a playoff series. And if he doesn't, I think he's a big part of this offense. But at the same time, I think Kevin Durant takes over his shooting.
But if you've looked at the opponents that they've played the Blazers, a fully unhealthy Blazers team. Hayward and Gobert were hurt in the second round.
For
and
Utah,
Kawhi,
yeah.
and Kawhi got hurt in the third round. They haven't played a fully healthy team yet.
That's a good point.
In their 3 title runs that they've had, they've only played 2 series when teams have been fully healthy. They almost lost to Kevin Durant and the Thunder, and they lost to LeBron James in 7 games.
Well, can you say the same for the Cavs, though? I mean, it's not like they've had some mighty teams to go up against
But they haven't had as much, I would say, injury luck as the Warriors have had.
Who would you say, Knocker, to you as well? Who do you think has more pressure on them in this series? Kevin Durant and the Warriors to get the repeat, or LeBron James, with that Michael Jordan following the ghost? Who's got more pressure on him? Because just to put it out there, these are going to be the 2 storylines. If Golden State wins, okay, LeBron's not as good as Jordan. He couldn't get it done. He lost once again in the finals. That whole talk once again happens. And the Warriors and Durant win. LeBron wins. Well, then, was he better than Jordan at this point? I think there's a lot of talking points and a lot of storylines depending on who wins this series.
I think all the pressure is on Golden State. Absolutely, I believe all the pressure's on Golden State.
Is that because they're signing Durant?
They won 2 years ago, right? They were up 3-1 last year and collapsed.
Right.
Okay. They go out and they get arguably the second best player in the NBA.
I would agree with that statement.
Right? They go 12-0 to get here, winning by an average of what, 16?
I think it's like 15 points
Something
or something
like that.
Something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland already spun their magic. Cleveland already won, down 3-1. Cleveland already got their NBA championship. The curse is over. He's been there 7 years in a row.
Yeah.
7 years
Pretty
in
amazing.
a row to the finals. I think all the pressure on Golden State, because if they lose 2 years in a row, what happened 2 years ago is just going to be, okay, well, they won one. Lots of teams have won one. Where's the dynasty? Oh, Cleveland is now building the dynasty because they've won 2 years in a row. They lost that first year.
Mhm.
They did not have a really good team. So, okay, Golden State, you beat LeBron and 4 other guys, right? But when Cleveland had a strong team, you could nut up and finish it.
Right.
Right? And now this year, where you supposedly have the team, right? You didn't get it done again, right? And
Yeah.
now you start shake up. Who leaves? Who goes? Thompson
I was
goes,
going to get to
boom,
that.
boom,
If Golden
boom,
State
Green,
lose, there's so much on the line for Golden
I
State
agree.
if they
All the
lose.
pressure's on
If
that.
they lose, Kevin Durant will be tanked forever. Like and that's just the reality
In the
of
eyes
it.
of NBA fans,
In the
and
eyes of
experts
NBA
and-
fans,
yeah.
he will be tanked forever because you went to a team that you arguably should have beat. And I really think if the Thunder get into last year's finals, they probably end up winning because they just had a very strong team. They were playing very well. This is like Charles Barkley going to that Olajuwon team in like the middle of his career. Could you imagine that?
Yeah,
That's like unbelievable.
And I think a big point that's not been said or talked about too much is missing Steve Kerr, because I do think that he handles Draymond Green better than anybody else out there, and I think that if Cleveland's smart, they get to Draymond early and test him once again and let's see how cool this kid really is, because I think Steve Kerr keeps him in check. And not having Steve Kerr there, who they say he probably won't be back till Game 3 if he does come back to coach, it's just there's so much pressure on Golden State. I think the only pressure that's on the Cavs, it's on LeBron, just for his legacy. There's no pressure on the Cavs as a team or an organization.
But what?
Because there's the whole Jordan talk, Pops. I mean, right now to you, is Jordan in your eyes better than LeBron?
I don't know.
You have to have it. No, don't be
waffling
Switzerland.
now.
You got to pick a
But
side.
I don't think it matters now. I just don't think it matters whether he wins or not.
You don't think LeBron winning this series has any ramifications on what Cam and
Not
NBA
at all.
fans think of who's better in the LeBron-Jordan discussion?
Not at all. He's got 4 rings, right? 4 or 5. He's got 4,
No,
right?
LeBron's got 4.
He's got 4 rings.
No, he'll be. If he would win, he would have
4. Yes, he's had 2 with
Okay.
Miami and 1 with Cleveland.
Okay, and he's been to the finals 7 freaking times.
Okay.
Jerry West only won 1.
Uh-huh.
Does anybody knock him?
Yeah.
He went to the finals like 9 times.
Yeah, but George
And
won
won
6
one.
to 6 though.
Fine. He won 6 for 6.
So you think this series has no bearing on LeBron's legacy at all?
Absolutely not. I do
Cam?
not think
I
so
think
at
it
all.
has everything to do
Thank-
with his
I'm with you
legacy.
too, man.
I think if he wins, it catapults him to where there's no argument.
Yeah,
But if he
That's-
loses, the argument's still there.
that's where I am.
Okay.
If he wins this series, beating the 2 greatest teams probably ever assembled, it catapults him into a place where there's no denying that he's the greatest player of all time. He's beaten Jordan's stats in almost everything. He'll get there in points. He'll collapse it in rebounds. He's already eclipsed the playoff points. It's like it's getting to a point where he's becoming a statistical anomaly, and you can't say anything anymore. Like everything that I've criticized LeBron throughout his whole career, he's done for me now. He went back to Cleveland. He won a championship.
He beat
proved
the best.
He's proved that he can.
winningest team ever.
He's proved that he can get it done in clutch time. He's refined his game to where he's a 50% three-point shooter in these playoffs. It's unbelievable. And he has the post-up game and everything. It's gotten to a point where
So you think that all this series, all it could do as far as LeBron's legacy
It
is
will
elevate it. It cannot necessarily bring it down any more than what
tank,
it is.
It will tank the Warriors and Durant, and it will elevate LeBron into rare air where no one
Would
is.
he? as you're a big basketball nut, would you put LeBron
This
over
is the
Jordan?
series-
Is this the series that
Yeah.
if he wins it, LeBron passes Jordan?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there can't
This-
be any argument after that.
There,
Right?
It's unbelievable.
8 finals,
Two different teams.
four championships, beat arguably the greatest team winning record on a down 3-1. That comes back and beats him again with the second best player in the NBA.
See, here's the thing. What it is for me too is if Peyton Manning wins that Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks, and that was one of the greatest defenses, I'm like, okay, he's got 3. You know, he's getting in that air, and it's like LeBron has to get somewhere close. I don't think no one's gonna match 6 for 6. It's not gonna happen. It's just that's chasing a ghost that will never be reached. I think it's getting into the conversation, and then you have all the best stats to back you up.
One point I'm sorry.
No, good.
One point that you did make, okay, is chemistry, right? I'm a big believer in chemistry. I truly am. I think the only team that ever really won a lot without chemistry were the 70s Yankees. That team was just total disarray, but they were professional ball players, and they did what they had to do between the lines. Cleveland won it last year, down 3-1, with Love as a new addition. They had a couple of new additions on that Cleveland team from the year prior, and they went out and they beat them down 3-1. They went out and they beat them, right? They've had a whole year with basically the same team to build that chemistry. Kevin Love has fit in a lot better now than when he
Playing some
arrived
good
last year,
basketball.
right? I really believe, like you said, the chemistry on the Cavaliers is rolling right now, where the chemistry with the addition of Durant and Thompson being lost, and not everybody really knows
Draymond
exactly
Green's been
what their
caught
roles
yelling at
are
Durant
anymore.
and- yeah.
You know, it's they're the team now that's struggling to really just roll out there, and everybody knows what everybody else is doing. I think Cleveland definitely has an advantage in that, and also ain't afraid of them. Cleveland obviously is not intimidated.
They've already
by
slayed
the
the
Golden
Giants.
State Warriors.
Yeah.
So
And I think like you said, last year it was LeBron series. You know what I mean? All the pressure was on LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Can he win it for Cleveland? Can he get it done without the dream team of Miami? I think it's like this year's with Durant. I think it's just flipped onto Durant this year, because if he doesn't get it done this year, like Cam said,
he's gonna get killed.
he's
He'll
gonna get just
he'll get
absolutely destroyed.
murdered.
And then not only that, it's like, if you're the Warriors, what do you do? That's supposed to be the ultimate team.
Well, the problem is, if you're the Warriors also, is that everybody's contract extension's coming up,
Yep.
and so your salary cap is going to go through the roof, and you're going to potentially lose guys. Like, this is where I was a big believer of that 73-win team. You have those guys like Andrew Bogut, just the little guys that nobody really pays
role players.
attention to. Those role players, that 73-win team, that's probably the best basketball I've ever seen a team really play as 1 through 9. And those guys were incredible. So I think, like Knocker said, it's getting to that point where Korver's fitting in with Cleveland. You have Kevin Love looks really comfortable.
Tristan
JR.
Thompson's happy.
Tristan Thompson's happy being a rebounder. JR and Shump know they have to go and play hard defense.
And they know their roles.
They know their roles. I think with Golden State, it's you have to have 4 guys play really well. And you know what? Maybe Zaza just doesn't let Thompson go for 10 offensive rebounds a game or something like that. So it's tough.
Who do you think guards LeBron James in this series?
Oh, Kevin Durant's got to guard LeBron
You
James.
think now, is that going to wear on Kevin Durant throughout the series, having to guard LeBron James? Would you?
Yeah, absolutely, but it'll wear on LeBron having to guard Kevin Durant. The reason I like Golden State is I love their cross matchups. So I like Klay Thompson on JR.
Okay, I do too.
I mean, I don't like Kyrie Irving on Steph Curry, but they're a wash because they pretty much don't play
and
defense.
Draymond up against Tristan Thompson?
And Draymond, you could have Draymond against K-Love. Thompson
Okay.
would probably be against Pachulia.
And who you got Curry going up against?
Kyrie
against each other?
or if you want to shadow him, you'll put J.R. Smith. But it's one of those things where all these guys are switching, so it really doesn't matter who's one.
The deciding factor in all of this, when it comes down to it, is Kevin Durant going to play like the Kevin Durant we know in this series for Golden State? And if he does, they win. On the flip side, I think Tristan Thompson, not LeBron, is the ultimate piece here for the Cleveland Cavaliers to win this series. He is the most dynamic ball handler in the NBA by far. His handles are sick. He makes his own shot out of nothing. I think that if he has a series like he did last year, where he just takes over games at times,
Kyrie.
I think Kyrie is the the main center point if the Cavs win or not LeBron. Because LeBron's going to get his.
Right.
LeBron's always going to get his. Does Kyrie have that 37 a
It
night?
always comes down to the role players. It always comes down
Yeah.
to those guys. I mean, your superstar will win you a game, maybe two, but to win a series like this, you have to have a deep bench. You have
Gotta
to
have
have
a deep bench.
you have to have your Mark Landsbergers. You have to have your Mark Madsons. You have to have your guys that know their roles and get shit done so the stars can be stars.
Yeah.
And, the Lakers tried to do this with
Malone, when they brought Malone
and Gary Payton,
yeah.
and that just wasn't going to work with our man, right? Wasn't going to work.
Nope.
So it's very compelling. Biggest problem with the NBA is that's all they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've
It
got
is.
nothing else but these two teams.
But at the same time, Knock, you look back at history, wasn't it Lakers Celtics all the time?
No. The Lakers and Celtics met each other in the finals twice in the 80s.
Didn't the Celtics go to like 10 straight? Didn't he go to
Well,
10?
that was in the 60s.
Okay,
was
well, I
in the
mean,
60s.
what's the why is that such a glorified era of that? Why is that any different
The
than
60s
now?
aren't so much glorified. I mean, there weren't as many teams, but the teams were. I mean,
For
without
a while,
as many
it's just
teams,
the Bulls. Why is it such a problem that it's just the Cat? Like, why does everyone have a problem that's just two teams? Because it's always been like that.
It doesn't
it's
matter
always
that it's
been
the,
like
no.
that.
It doesn't matter. It's the two teams. It's just there's just no competition
Yeah.
anywhere else. You had the Sixers. You had the Bad Boys. You had there were some good Cleveland teams back then. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
you had some challengers. Those series went 6-7 games for Boston or Philly or whoever came from the
Even
East.
Jordan.
To get
I mean,
there.
Jordan never really swept through series.
Exactly.
You know?
Cleveland took them to 7 games in a fantastic shot by Jordan.
Yeah.
Or history is totally different, right? The Lakers had to go through some pretty darn good teams to get there. Dallas had some really good teams. Phoenix had some decent teams back in the day. Houston, Golden State had a couple of good teams. The competition for these teams to get there, the series leading up to the finals, were much harder fought than now. They're 12-0. When was the last time two teams got to the finals with one loss between them?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And no game has been competitive. Maybe one or two. out of
What's the
12.
answer? What's the answer?
The answer is get rid of 4 teams
I was gonna say
and
is
stop
that-
the one and
What's
done.
the answer? The answer is nothing. They screwed themselves in the CBA. They
let me-
did this to themselves.
Okay, now let me ask you this, okay? Other than LeBron, how many one and dones are on both?
You have Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Curry wasn't.
No, Curry wasn't.
Thompson wasn't.
Durant.
That
when did
is
Durant,
my
Durant
point.
came right out of high school.
That is
right?
my point. The one and dones are never going to get you to where you want to go. They don't know the game. These two teams are full of veterans that know the game of basketball, that went to college 2-3 years, other than LeBron, went to college for 2 or 3 years, were coached, and they're all 28, 26, 27, 28.
Yeah.
How many 22-year-olds are stepping on the floor in the NBA Finals?
Not very many.
Not many.
That's my point. That's what's ruining the league. These two teams are smart. Jerry West is the smartest you-know-what guy out there. I don't need the
That's why
one
the
and dones. I
that's
don't
why
have
the
time
Lakers are trying to get him
teach
back.
you. I don't have time to wait for 3 years to see if you might develop. Hell no.
Yeah.
I want the guy that spent 3 years being coached by a damn good coach in college.
I
Right?
just think that like a lot of these professional sports that break off into just not just the NBA, but a lot of these professional leagues from hockey, from baseball, from football. I hate to say it because I think that small towns are great, small cities are great. They're great for America. They're great, but they're not sustainable destinations for free agents or guys that want to go play places. I'm
Very
sorry,
true.
that, it's
They're
just
not.
they're not. And I
But-
think that the NBA, like the NBA, I don't want to go play in New Orleans.
But
I don't
he-
want to go play in some of these cities where it's just not. I'm a 6'8"
Charlotte,
guy.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, Milwaukee. I don't want to go there.
But here's the problem. When you vetoed the Chris Paul trade and when you made max contracts, you
Yeah.
made it even more attractive to go to big markets. That's what they don't understand.
Right.
You can put together super teams now. The thing that I love about baseball, and I do not like baseball at all that much, you can give a guy like Trout $33 million a year. It's not going to work. Doesn't mean it's going to be your end-all answer, but it means you have to. Bryce Harper could get a $40 million a year contract when he comes up in this extension. Doesn't mean you're going to win the World Series. You have to build a team.
Yes, that's true.
So the problem is like Jeff Van Gundy and the Van Gundys were saying this for the long time.
Mm-hmm.
When you make this max contract, you cap out people. Now you've set a salary cap so that superstars want to play with other superstars. That and the whole Chris Paul thing, I think, just kind of set up a mess.
Is this leading up to the NBA possibly taking out? I mean, do you think that would ever happen?
I don't think
out
they have a
a-
choice. I just don't. I don't think they have a choice. They got to get rid of 4 or 5 franchises and shrink the talent pool.
Get more talent.
The talent pool is so spread thin
out
and so young of players who do not know the game. Yes, they're talented.
Mm-hmm.
They're naturally talented, fantastic ball players, but they don't know the game of basketball. They have not been coached properly. They're not old enough, mature enough to make this league work. It's killing the league.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to go where you do the college baseball rule and you go, you either drafted right out of high school if you want to put your name in there, or you wait 3 years. Maybe that's somewhat of the answer.
Agree. Totally agree.
So then there you go. Or maybe you have them go play overseas for 1 or 2 years. You got to get. There's got to be some
developmental
way.
league, like the minor leagues in baseball. You have a developmental league where they have to prove something. Given an 18-year-old kid who might, because he was great in college for 1 year, who might in 3 or 4 years be worth the money you're paying him. That's a hell of a gamble.
Yeah.
And you have to do it. Look at the Lakers. I mean, they've been 3 years in the lottery now, and their team still sucks.
Yeah.
Because these guys are too young, and they can't pay the veteran ball player, the role player. They cannot pay that middle-aged guy to sit on the bench and mentor these guys because they can't afford him because of the cap. They got to cut the mentors and go with all these young people and get journeymen that they can low pay who are shitty anyway to try and mentor these guys. It's just a vicious, in my opinion, a vicious cycle.
I think it's a cycle, though, that's not just happening in the NBA, though. I think it's happening in all
I
4
don't
of the
agree with
major
you.
sports.
I don't agree with you because the NBA has 12 people on their roster.
Yeah.
It's not happening in football. You got 40 people.
I think it's
You
happening
can
in
hide.
hockey.
You can hide.
I think
no way. Edmonton just took the Ducks to the end, right? Edmonton has been in the lottery for 3 years.
Edmonton's a hockey town, Dan.
But they were able to draft good players, and they have veteran players with them, and they were able to build a team. When you only have a 12-man roster, and you got guys coming out of college, if you don't pick him, this guy's going to pick him, and if he turns out to be great, you passed on him, you're going to look like shit. Well, I guess I better pick him and get rid of my veteran guys. You have to have a mix, and the NBA size of a roster does not allow you that type of room. A baseball, there's 27 people on a baseball roster.
25-man roster.
Right? So you can draft a young 18-year-old, put him in the minors for 2 years, and wait for him to succeed because you have all these other
roster
players.
Size does have a big.
The problem
in
is,
my opinion, yeah.
No,
it
it is totally. It's the problem of one guy in the NBA makes so much of a difference. That's why LeBron's considered all-time great because he can go anywhere and he's a traveling dynasty.
Yeah.
If he was going to go anywhere in the NBA, they would win. So I mean, it's to Knocker's point. You got to have a mix of young and old. But I've always believed that in sports. I've never believed you always draft young or you just go get veterans. You have to have a little bit of both.
Look at the Patriots, most successful team in the NFL. Where have they drafted for the last 8 years?
Yeah.
Last.
They've given up the
right?
draft picks.
They give them away.
Yeah.
Why? I don't want the kids.
I want the guy.
I don't have the time
I want the
to wait
5-year
for the
vet
kids.
that wants to prove something.
Right.
Yeah.
I want the guy that's been in the league for 5 years, who's frustrated, who wants to win, and is willing to swallow some pride and ego to win.
Yep,
That's the
I
guy
agree.
that I want.
I agree. All right, so I got Warriors in 5. Cam, what's yours?
Warriors in 6.
Pops?
Warriors in 7.
Warriors in 7. All right, guys, when we get back, get a couple shots lined up here. Get to talk a little about Tiger Woods, NHL playoffs, and the moment you've all been waiting for, the flop heard round the world. When we get back after this.